Hi, this is David Ware from the State Archives. Last week, we talked a little bit about some materials that we are lending from the archives to my old colleague Jennifer Hughes, the Secretary of State's office, to be on display in the Capitol this fall. Things related to votings and elections. This week we have a few more things to explore, so we'll take up the tape where it ran out last time and show you a few more of our wonders. Another so-called reform to the election system was the poll tax, instituted both in Arkansas and in many other states, not just southern states, in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. The poll tax was basically a head tax. You paid your money and you got put on the electoral rolls. Arkansas used this, like many other states did, to effectively exclude African Americans. It took a very nominal fee, $1, but $1's a lot of money if you're poor, especially in the early 20th century. They couldn't always scratch up the money in order to be able to pay the poll tax and have access to the polls. The poll taxes provided a voter registration list. What we have here is a list of electors for Pulaski County, Arkansas, 1958. Think of that date. This is the year after the Central High crisis. This is the list of individuals who in Pulaski County would vote on important measures. There are many famous names from the Central High crisis scattered through this volume, including here in Arkansas's First Ward, Mr. and Mrs. L.C. Bates. That is Elsie and Daisy Bates, the mentors of the Little Rock Nine. Earlier I mentioned that the election system requires that votes be counted, then results collated at the county level, then be sent on to the Secretary of State. We have a couple of things here speaking to this process. We have here an election return from Van Buren County, the election of 1872. And there you have the tallies of the vote submitted to the Secretary of State's office. As you can see, a lot depended upon whether or not the clerk actually had good handwriting. In the 20th century, things got a little more elaborate. Here at the State Archives, we preserve many volumes of these massive election return ledgers. They were deposited here over the years by the Secretary of State's office. These record the precinct level and county level votes in individual elections. Many of the early ones, they are like 3 feet by 4 feet. These are massive because if you've got lots of precincts, you've got lots of things to write, you can't make the spaces too small. Many of them were filled out using either a straight pen or a fountain pen in the early days, then it went to ballpoint pen. And today, of course, they're done on computers. But the idea is to create a permanent and durable record of the vote. The Secretary of State's office is legally charged with the responsibility of keeping these records. We in the State Archives care for them on behalf of the Secretary of State's office. We take this very seriously. Here we have a lovely example, Presidential Election Returns 1968. That was the year when we all discovered Nixon's the one. At any rate, this is a fairly clear representative one. It doesn't have all of the various small, lesser candidates. We just have the election returns. But here you have Hubert Humphrey and Edward Muskie, the Democratic candidates, Richard Nixon and Spiro T. Agnew, the Republicans, and then George Wallace and Marvin Griffin of the American Party, a party that stationed itself basically appealing to old-style Southern racial and social conservatives. But here we have the returns from Arkansas County. You go through. You have them for each of the counties here. Simple technology, reliable technology, technology that's durable. We keep working on ways to make all sorts of records more permanent, more durable, more accessible. There's really no medium that is better for that than simply good quality paper that's taken care of. For 200 years, one of the biggest tasks of Arkansas's territorial and then state government has been to get in the vote, to get it counted, to get the announced results to the people in a timely fashion. Here at the Arkansas State Archives, we're proud to preserve some of the traces of these efforts. This is important stuff. Important 200 years ago, important today. For For the State Archives, this is David Ware reminding you, we've got those 2 centuries of good stuff about Arkansas history waiting for you to explore. Thanks much. Talk to you next time.